Good morning, people. Welcome back. Good to see you. Good to have you around. Today we are going to tackle the installation of the Gobi roof rack ladder on the back of the 100 series Land Cruiser right here. So let me show it to you. But Gobi makes some pretty sweet roof racks. I've always liked the look of them. I've talked to, I guess, one person that had one, and they gave some kind of mixed reviews about it. But that said, there's practically nobody out there that makes a good ladder that you can bolt on that's independent of your roof rack, unless you have something going on in your spare tire carrier, swing out rear bumper replacement, which I don't have at the moment. So Gobi has kind of been on my radar for some time. A friend of mine, Dan Markovsky, has one of these mounted on his 80 series, and I found this one on the internet through Instagram, and I'll try to remember who it was that posted his. He had one, and I just commented and said, hey man, if you got another one. And sure enough, he put me in contact with a dude that was selling one, and I got this thing for a sweet deal. They're generally $325 or something like that, but because I'm a frugal bastard, I only buy shit when I can find a deal on it, in a lot of cases. And this thing I got for $150, brand new in the package, and then the shipping was shit. It was 80 bucks to come from back east somewhere. So I am not going to do a detailed installation of this because you guys are pretty dang smart and figured out. What I will say is the instructions that it came with are quite extensive. So you got like 9 pages of instructions, extremely well detailed instructions on just how to go about doing it. So, you know, I really appreciate that they did that. Somebody went to a lot of effort to make some decent instructions for people to follow. So that's super cool. Now, talking about quality of this thing, they give instructions in there about putting anti-seize on the hardware. So I'm gonna go grab some anti-seize. Good grief, my neighbor is sneezing up a storm over there. But I just thought it was kind of a cool touch that from the factory they actually put some anti-seize on the threads. I mean, how cool is that? So initial impressions out of the box is you got these sticky pads that get mounted, then you've got kind of a protective aluminum strip there that you'll see. So once I get it all installed, here's the anti-seize instructions. I'll just show you how it went on instead of showing you how I did it, because it's just some bolts, pretty straightforward. Initial quality, freaking awesome. Good welds, pretty good welds, and pretty lightweight, pretty stout. It's got everything already included, everything's already attached, screws and hardware, and so on and so forth. So we'll get this thing mounted up, and then I'll show you how it worked. One other cool thing I can tell you about it is that it's made in the USA, so that's freaking sweet. But it's made out of steel, and for a long time I really thought about building something. What I wanted was a ladder I could slide underneath the Front Runner Slimline 2 roof rack that I have, so it just kind of comes up and folds and slides in and out of the way and latches, and then when you need it, which is very rare, pull it out and drop it down. But I hemmed and hawed on that damn idea for a long time, as well as thinking about just trying to engineer and design something myself. But at $150, this thing is really well built. Now, right out of the gate, I'll show you things that I wouldn't have been able to do very well. Is you see that curvature right here on the bottom? So that conforms to the shape of the tailgate itself. The top really doesn't have much of a curvature to it, but so yeah, that's definitely a factor, the way they designed that and the way they did that. So I'm pretty sure I couldn't have come up with something that was better than this idea, so I'm pretty stoked with it. There was something else I was going to tell you. What the heck was it? Oh yeah, it's these plug things here. Okay, if you don't know, in order to install this, you have to remove your spoiler. Fortunately / unfortunately, my spoiler, somehow years ago, it broke and it actually flew off on the freeway, and it was at night, and I don't know if it hit another car or what, but I was pretty sad, and it was completely gone. All that was left was the little plastic brackets, which I still have. So anyway, I had these, I just took the hardware out, which is nice and stainless from the factory, I'm pretty sure. And just, I've been running that hardware in there for a long time. So Gobi sends it with these teeny ass little plugs, which I might put in. I would probably silicone them in or something. But for now, I'm gonna try to just keep the bolts in, because for now, they're fine. All right, one other last thing that's kind of odd about it is, like I said, it's made in the USA, so it's actually standard size hardware, okay? 1/2 inch for the nuts, and then 7/16 for these. Now they did include the Allen wrenches, so I assume those are American as well. But just kind of odd, so something to keep in mind. Gotta have your standard size wrenches in addition to your metric size wrenches. But they also did run anti-seize on their bolts before it left the factory, so that's kind of cool. So, most unfortunately, I'm gonna have to remove the Toyota emblem, and it looks like cut part of the Land Cruiser emblem off too to make this work. I don't know what the difference is on the 02 to 05 and beyond Land Cruisers versus the early one is, but this is what you gotta do to make this work. In addition to, I'm gonna have to bust out the fucking welder and modify the bracket. Blow dryer, dremel tool. Let's make this work. Teeny tiny cutoff wheel on the dremel. Make a little chop right there and try to get that L off. All right, well, fortunately, I did have the tools necessary to get the emblems off. You're gonna want some goof off or whatever sticky removal stuff. Unfortunately, even though all the glue came off, it is not pretty. And what I don't have is a buffing wheel. So I don't have anything to buff down that paint again. So this, maybe one day I'll pull it back off and buff that shit. But as you can tell, this truck is a wheeling machine. It is not a fancy ass Land Cruiser. So that is a subject we are going to be addressing here shortly in a video that I'm going to have to reshoot. So stay tuned for that. So there we go. We've got it fitted. To cut a little bit more off of the freaking emblem there, which sucks, but it's compromised. So this is practically even along the bottom here, and we've measured it out and figured out what we've got to do, how much of this we have to hack off, and then re-weld these freaking tabs on. So let's get that done, and we can wrap up this project.